What's good enough for Marvin Harrison Jr. in 2025? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cardinals. Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 15 years in sports media in Phoenix, 9th season hosting this show. It's been a hell of a ride, and I am so excited that things seem to be entering the next stage, the next dimension, one way or another. Positively or negatively, it's going to be different in 2026. Good, bad, we don't know yet. But Marvin Harrison Jr., what's going to be good enough in 2025 when it's all said and done? What won't be good enough in 2025? And what's my prediction for what actually will happen? Small mini series here. Did Kyler Murray on Wednesday, doing Marv today. Trey McBride under the spotlight on Monday. And then we'll do an honorable mention offense on Wednesday, and then we'll hit the defensive groups starting Friday of next week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a few weeks. I think this is the perfect time to do it. And let's get ripping. What's good enough for Marvin Harrison Jr. in 2025? It's a very complicated question. One thing that's not complicated is talking about FanDuel. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So Marv, like Kyler Murray, in my opinion, it's not going to be about the numbers specifically that's going to determine if 2025 was good enough, if the production on the field was good enough. And while that seems peculiar because, normally, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, these bonkers receiver numbers. It's like, yeah, of course, like Justin Jefferson is the best receiver we've seen, alongside Jamar Chase, the best receiver we've seen in a long time. Okay, so comparing them to Marv is just not fair. We don't know what Marv is going to be, but comparing a dude who's been in the league 5 years to Marv, who's coming into his second, which was a run-first offense last year, and him being the third option on offense, putting up almost 900 yards, 10 touchdowns over 60, or 8 touchdowns over 60 receptions, it's like could have been a lot worse. For me, the good enough has already started. The one thing that he's done is bulk up immediately. He's been in the lab. He's put on over 10 pounds of muscle, it looks like he looks bulkier. He looks like an NFL player now. He looked very young last year. He went through the senior year of high school, I'm the cat's meow, to freshman year of college, like, oh, I'm not the cat's meow anymore. Like, there's that transition that people make in life, not just athletes. It happens to everybody. And he now realizes what he needs to do better. So that part, that self-awareness, the self-editing that he's done from last year, the end of last year, to now is there. Box checked. Good enough. Okay. Now, obviously, that's not the end-all be-all. That's what you expect any rational athlete to do. But he's done it. So kudos, move on. The good enough for me is making Kyler Murray have to decide who his number one option is. By playing so well and ripping targets away from Trey McBride, to where you got to be at a point where it's like, oh, you got to get Trey McBride some targets. You can't just target Marv 15 times a game when you can. That's the embarrassment of riches. That's the iron sharpening iron that you want to see. You want to see Marvin Harrison Jr., however it looks, force Trey McBride to step his game up to continue getting the targets that Marv is getting. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen like that, like cut and dry. But rumblings of that, the presence of that throughout 2025, that'll show good enough. Now, obviously, you want 100 receptions, 1,500 yards, and 15 touchdowns. Like I said this about Kyler Murray. Like, you obviously want 4,800 all-purpose yards and 50 touchdowns. But what's good enough? And this isn't like, oh, you know what? It's the Cardinals, so you got to settle for good enough. No. What this series is highlighting is what is good enough to get them to where they want to go, which is winning a playoff game. I think that's pretty much where it sits. What does Marv have to do to be good enough to do his part in making that happen? And however it looks, it's really forcing the issue on who is the number one option on this offense in the pass game. Because if he does that, if it's not clearly Trey McBride's offense, that is a very, very good problem for the Cardinals to have. So what could that look like? What would need to highlight? What would need to change from his production last year to this year? And this is why it's not sheer numbers. The 50-50 balls need to be less 30-70 and more 50-50. I'm not saying he needs to be Randy Moss or Plaxico Burress, some of the best jump ball guys that we've ever seen. I'm not saying it needs to be that. But I'm saying it needs to be a shift from, oh no, to, oh good, that a 50-50 ball is going Marv's way. Because it was a bunch of oh no last year. And some of that's on Kyler Murray for sure. They've got another complete offseason. He's not sitting out in the combine. Like, it's clunky. It's tough for rookies sometimes just to go through that entire process. So this is the first adult real offseason that Marv is going to have with Kyler Murray. So the jump balls, 50, like not jump balls like Hail Mary balls, jump balls like Marv's in that area, throw it to him. And you can do that with Trey. And Kyler Murray's good most of the time at throwing it either out of bounds or into the arms and the hands of Trey McBride. Out of bounds meaning like it's only a ball that Trey McBride can catch, irrespective of the angle. It could be an over-the-shoulder throw, which we saw last year a couple times, like on crossing routes or on post patterns. Like, it doesn't need to be. I'm not saying like jump ball, Hail Mary balls in the end zone. But Marvin Harrison Jr. getting stronger will immediately positively impact his ability to go get balls that are in his catch radius against experienced corners who know how to bat balls away, which he wasn't fantastic at last year. That's one thing that will 100% shorten the gap on who the wide receiver one is or who pass catcher one is. Because yes, I know Trey McBride is a tight end and he's wide receiver one. You don't really talk about that with a lot of teams because you've got a wide receiver one and you've got a stud tight end. Trey McBride is that, both of them, until Marvin Harrison Jr. catches up, which not bearing the lead, but I expect him to get closer. That's one thing. And number two, this is the tough part, but this is also what the good enough will yield. He just needs to find himself open more. And I think it's Drew Petzing, it's Kyler Murray, but Trey McBride's always open. If the Cardinals have two guys who are always open, that means that one of those guys will always need to be double teamed, which will unlock the hell out of this entire offense. It'll be the limitless pill for this offense. He needs to find ways to get open more. And that sounds easy. Like, it sounds, no. It sounds like an easy thing to say, well, duh. He needs to get open more. Trey McBride's always open. Always. And the ramp up isn't just like, oh, you're in the NFL now, go be good. I fully expect there to be some level or form or fashion of that this year where it's like, can't protect everybody. And that's when you pepper in Michael Wilson, when you pepper in Greg Dortch, when you pepper in Zay Jones, when you pepper in Elijah Higgins, when you pepper in Tip Ryman, when you pepper in James Conner or Trey Benson out of the backfield. Like, that's what unlocks everything if you have two dudes. I think the touchdowns are going to come. I think he'll have over 10. Regardless of if it's quote-unquote good enough or not, he's going to be a touchdown machine. He's already started the good enough path, getting yoked in the offseason. That's going to help with the second part of needing the 30-70 balls last year to be more 55-45 balls, 60-40 balls. A really good receiver can go up and get it. But that all is encapsulated in what's going to be good enough for the Cardinals to make a push is if we're questioning who's the bona fide first option in the passing game, and Marvin Harrison Jr. has shortened Trey McBride's lead. That is going to be a fantastic situation for the Cardinals to be in, and it'll be good enough for them to hopefully get to where they want to go. What will not be good enough production-wise for Marvin Harrison Jr. in 2025? We'll discuss it next. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are, woo! How about that? How about that? Like, the NBA playoffs have been absolutely bonkers, okay? And it's something that, while the ratings are down and all that stuff, FanDuel's got you covered for all of it this year, next year, and everything in between. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Again, if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. So I know, speaking in generalities instead of like, well, he needs to hit these metrics, he needs to hit these numbers, and he needs to do this for it to be good enough. This is still, even though I'm pounding the table for more passing game, more in Kyler Murray's hands, more of that, and not just run on first down, get 5 yards, automatically running on second down, lose a yard, and then you're in a pass situation. Like, the evolution of this offense, I think, is really going to hit whatever it's at a fever pitch, I think. Is that how you say that? I don't know. It's on the precipice of a fork in the road. Are you going to take the new age look and evolve this offense to be able to magnify and be able to maximize all of the skill that's on the offensive side of the ball? Like, Marv is going to be an integral part of that, obviously. But it's still going to be James Conner. It's still going to be Trey McBride. So I'm not saying 80 catches, 1,300 yards, and 14 touchdowns, where it's a bust of a season. He's a bust of a pick and all that stuff. He's got to go take the throne of pass catcher one. We'll see if he does. What will not be good enough? And this is tricky also. Because Trey McBride is there, and because James Conner is there, and because as of now, this is a running first offense, and it still will be. I just hope that it'll, unlock a little bit more of the pass game. It's more about the not good enough floor as opposed to ceiling. If he puts up the same numbers this year as he did last year, does that mean it's not good enough? Like, if the offense was the same and like the dispersion of targets and yards, obviously it'll be elevated a little bit more, you'd think. But and they'd win more games because of the defense, all that stuff. Like, would that be good enough? That's an above average season for a wide receiver too. Those numbers. I think that, when it comes to numbers, I think that not good enough is anything below 1,000 yards. With an extra week, that's that's just under 60 receiving yards a game. 62 receptions, it's got to be better. He did miss the Green Bay game for the most part when he went out concussion protocol, on the first series, I think. I think it was in the first quarter. So he really only played 16 games. But, that's under 1,000 yards. It's just, that's not going to be good enough. So there's that, splitting hairs where it's it's not all about the numbers, but for the floor, it is. You'd like 75 receptions for 1,000 yards and 10 plus touchdowns. That's what I would think. I've been on record as saying that I think Trey McBride's receptions are going to go down. His touchdowns are going to skyrocket. His receiving yards will stay around the same, depending on how much they throw the ball. Marv's numbers all will go up, especially touchdowns. The Cardinals, I think, would have 3 guys with 10 touchdowns. I mean, James Conner being one of them. I think that's with what you'd expect to be, how much more opportunity they'll get on short fields, opportunistic turnovers by the defense, etc. I just think the numbers are bound to go up. What else will not be good enough is if he continues to get pushed around. Regardless of strength, this is something that's about leverage. It's about watching film. It's about really studying opposing DBs to be able to get the leg up on them, what they're good at, what they're bad at, and how to expose. And I'm sure, obviously, Kyler Murray is going to have, it's going to be intertwined in this. But when a quarterback throws the ball in your vicinity, it's your job to go get it. It's what it is. Regardless of what happens in 2025, though, one thing that's not good enough for fans, for media members, is like if he has the same numbers as last year, or has just a little bit over 950 yards and 9 touchdowns or something like that and 70 catches, he's already not a bust. Okay? So this whole busting, it's whole like we want this immediate culture. It's like it's asininary for one. Asininary, that's a word. Look it up. Spewing about asininary word. That's adorable. Just let the kid go. Like let him learn. He's so young. I mean, obviously all these guys are adults, but like it doesn't always happen overnight. And this offense is not built like a West Coast offense where they're just going to huck it. I'm sure, again, there's going to be a new iteration this year. But the not good enough is pretty much the opposite of what the good enough is. It wasn't like that with Kyler Murray specifically, what I talked about on Wednesday. But the good enough, he's already started the path, bulking up. The good enough, 70-30 balls instead of 30-70 balls that are thrown his way and getting open more. Like, he's not the fastest dude. Nobody ever thought he was going to be. He did show breakaway speed against the Rams on that long touchdown. Like, he's got some scoot. But some of the best receivers we've seen in the last 20 years weren't the fastest. You don't have to be. Like, Jamar Chase isn't a human being. He's so fast. Like, it's like he's on ice skates when other people are running. Like, it's the craziest thing. Like, he's gazelle-like. I mean, there are dudes like that, But the not good enough is not showing progress on the field, numbers, and otherwise. This is the level up year. And luckily for him, this is a fantastic situation to be in for a second-year wide receiver who wasn't drafted to save the room, the pass catcher room. What's my prediction? What do I think is going to happen? I alluded to it a little bit, but let's dive deeper into it next. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This is a tough prediction because you'd love to say that this is the year. 90 catches, 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns. Like, you'd love to see it because if that happens, let's do that first. If that happens, we are having different conversations about this team. Like, I've never said, even when they started 7-0 and 10-2, that this was a Super Bowl team. I haven't. And I'm not saying they are now. And you can groan and moan, well, not with Kyler Murray, not with Kyler Murray. Keep it to yourself right now. Okay? If Marvin Harrison Jr. puts up those numbers in 2025, this is a Super Bowl tangential team to talk about. Because what that means is, and this is barring any sort of injury to Trey McBride or anybody big, knock on wood, you don't want anybody to get injured, and I said my disclaimer. If that happens, and that level up happens, that means Kyler Murray's having an MVP season. That means the run game has the best opportunity to have the easiest route to elite that we've seen in a long time, since David Johnson and Chris Johnson. Even with what James Conner did with 20 touchdowns in 2021. Fugazi. Like, James Conner's been great, but you knew that the infrastructure of the team wasn't ready for that next step. Kyler Murray obviously had a hand in that too. But if Marvin Harrison Jr. has 90 receptions, like 13 or 1,400 receiving yards and 15 touchdowns, or 13 touchdowns, we're having Super Bowl conversations throughout the season. That means they're winning a lot of games. And who knows what the defense is going to be like. Like if the defense levels up like that and Marv puts those numbers up like that, we're having wildly different conversations that people didn't necessarily expect going into the season. Do I think that will happen? No. Is it out of the realm of rational possibility? Absolutely not. We don't know what the level up is going to look like this year. You're expecting a pretty hefty level up. What do I predict will happen? I think he'll definitely eclipse 1,000 yards. I think he'll have over 10 touchdowns. I think he'll have at least 75 receptions. Flirting between 11 and 1,200 receiving yards, over 10 touchdowns, and 75 plus receptions. I think that's fair to state. Which, one broken play here, one broken play there, we're at 1,400 yards. You know, like one perfect play call here, one RPO here that has Kyler Murray taking that, you know, that step that makes the DBs look back or jump and Marv's wide open in the end zone for a 2-yard touchdown. Like, it's close. That's why, like, I don't think there's anybody who thinks, and I don't like speaking in absolutes, but I don't think there's anybody who thinks that, like, Marv's not capable of that. Okay? Going into the draft process, and this is something that, obviously, it's the draft process. Obviously, it's predicated upon everything college, the combine, and pro day interviews. When someone I trust very much, a friend of mine, Trevor Sikkema, the lead NFL dude over at Pro Football Focus, says that he may be the highest graded player he's ever graded. That's not something that you take lightly and you just throw away after a year because he didn't have 1,000 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns in his rookie season and a run-first offense where he's the third option. So my prediction is 30% more everything. And I think that's a very healthy incremental growth from year 1 to year 2 in a run-first offense. It's on him. It's on Kyler. It's on Drew Petzing. But, dude, 90 receptions, 1,400 yards, 12, 13 touchdowns. We're having wildly different conversations. And that is not far removed from what my prediction is of 75 receptions, between 11 and 1,200 yards, and 10 or 11 touchdowns. Just a couple broken plays. It's a couple wildly talented plays by Marvin Harrison Jr. that could jump from one to the next. It's crazy. And the best part is he's going to have a duo. He's going to have a partner to be 1-1A with Trey McBride, who I will highlight on Monday in our What's Good Enough in 2025 series here, Locked on Cardinals. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you Monday.